In 1777, a 19-year-old French nobleman, Gilbert du Motier de Lafayette, sailed to America to fight on the side of the colonies in the Revolutionary War. The Continental Congress made him a major general, in part because of his influence with the French court. Indeed, his petitions to King Louis XVI, as well as his heroics at the Battle of Brandywine, persuaded France to enter the war against England. He also used much of his personal wealth to buy equipment, food, supplies, and uniforms for the ragtag army of George Washington. Lafayette was fiercely loyal to General Washington, but he was also a courageous and capable military leader. In recognition of this, Washington gave him command of the Virginia Army. Lafayette's brilliant battlefield tactics resulted in Cornwallis being cornered in Yorktown. In October of 1781, with the armies of Lafayette, Washington, and Rochambeau on one side, and the French Navy threatening from the sea, Cornwallis had no choice but to surrender. This essentially ended the war in America's favor and allowed Lafayette to return to France. In 1783, Campbellton was a small Scotch settlement on the banks of the Cape Fear River in southeastern North Carolina. That year, the North Carolina General Assembly renamed it Fayetteville, the very first town in the United States to be named in honor of the Marquis de Lafayette. Fayetteville served as capital of North Carolina for several years. The Constitutional Convention met there in 1789 to ratify the Constitution, and the University of North Carolina was chartered there that same year. Many years later, Lafayette was given an engraving of the State House in Fayetteville by a friend who had just returned from a trip to America. Lafayette was so touched by the story of Fayetteville that he decided to visit there during his grand tour of the United States. From 1824 to 1825, Lafayette was the nation's guest, and crowds of 100,000 and more turned out to welcome him in cities like New York, Boston, and Philadelphia. But of all the cities and towns that had been named for Lafayette, Fayetteville, North Carolina was the only one he actually visited. On March 4th and 5th of 1825, the city of Fayetteville responded to this honor with a celebration that included military parades, speeches, elegant balls, and banquets. Lafayette's visit there also included a reunion with Isham Blake, his old bodyguard from Yorktown. In September 2007, Fayetteville, North Carolina remembered its namesake once again with a 3-day celebration marking the 250th birthday of the hero of two worlds.
Let's welcome all the way from his chateau outside Paris, France, the Marquis de Lafayette.
Bonsoir, citoyennes! Mesdames et messieurs, citoyennes des États-Unis d'Amérique, je suis Marie, Joseph, Paul Yvron Gilbert du Motier, perhaps better known to all of you as the Marquis de Lafayette. And it is indeed a great pleasure and honor for me to be here in Fayetteville for my 250th birthday. The Treaty of Paris was signed in 1783. But you, the people of Fayetteville, know that year perhaps for another reason. For it was in that year that you did honor me so by naming this glorious city after me, the Marquis de Lafayette. And it is now called Fayetteville. I thank you for that.
After his speech on the balcony of the market house, the appreciative and adoring crowd followed Lafayette to the Arts Council building for a reception with birthday cake and ice cream, French vanilla, of course.
We created two cakes, one representing the country of America and one representing the country of France. The USA cake is about a 6 foot by 4 foot cake, and the country of France is done in about 4 foot by 4 feet. We used about 60 to 80 gallons of cake batter, about 30 gallons of icing, and it's about a little over 40 square feet of cake that should feed at least 1,000 people, if not more.
Well, here's another person with an unusual name, Marquis.
Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you, ladies. Have you come for some ice cream and cake? Oh, it is most delicious. It's right over there. Enjoy yourself.
Marquis is 15 years old, which in dog years is 105, so he's closer to the real Marquis' birthday.
Lafayette's 250th birthday celebration also included a grave marking ceremony by the Sons of the American Revolution for Gabriel de Brutz, a crew member with the French fleet that blockaded Cornwallis at Yorktown. The Fayetteville Independent Light Infantry, the color guard for this ceremony, was also the official escort for Lafayette during his visit to Fayetteville in 1825.
It's now 1781. The French fleet is en route to the Chesapeake Bay to support Lafayette and George Washington in ridding the colonies of the British. 3 days later, the French, with the 20-year-old officer Gabriel de Brutz on board, showed up in the Chesapeake Bay. After the Battle of the Saints, Gabriel de Brutz went back to France, spent a few years, and then returned to Charleston. And from Charleston, he came up the Cape Fear River to Fayetteville.
After the Revolutionary War, Gabriel de Brutz married and settled in Fayetteville, where he became a successful merchant, landowner, and leader of the community. Also for Lafayette's 250th birthday, the Museum of the Cape Fear presented the Festival of Yesteryear. On a bluff overlooking historic downtown Fayetteville, reenactors replicated the sights and sounds of American life during the Revolutionary period.
This is a German hunting rifle. It is a rifled barrel. It has set triggers. The flints in these things will last.
With a lead ball, you'd put your powder in, cut off a piece of cloth, take your lead ball, put on top of that.
And what you're selling was, now this is a solid side, this is a 3-pound shot, usually for longer range. Again.
There were so many different types of looms. There's tabletop looms.
Let me let you smell this now. You just, that is cinnamon. That is cinnamon. Ooh. As long as you can hear the crunch.
At the time of Lafayette's birth in 1757, French Baroque dancing was the rage in Europe, and American colonists brought this highly stylized form of dance with them. The 250th birthday celebration dinner featured Baroque dancing, also a musical tribute to Lafayette, and even entertainment that Lafayette may have enjoyed as a young man in France, a scene from Moliere's Tartuffe.
That poor man.
Vive la liberté, an original composition written just for Fayetteville's celebration, was performed by the concert choir of the St. Patrick Catholic School. The New Bern Dancing Assembly, which performs at historic Tryon Palace in eastern North Carolina, traces its roots to a dancing club that was organized there in the 1780s. Fayetteville had its own dancing club in the 18th century as well.
Thanks again for showing us how to party like it's 1757. We're now ready to close the evening out with a toast. First, I would like to toast Martha Dewell and the Lafayette Society. They have done some incredible things in this community, established scholarships. They are responsible for the statue of Lafayette in Cross Creek Park. We hope that we can continue the good work that the Lafayette Society has done and each year celebrate Lafayette's birthday. The very last toast, this is to Lafayette himself. I'm going to read from the eulogy by John Quincy Adams. Pronounce him one of the first men of his age, and you have yet not done him justice. Turn back your eyes upon the records of time. Summon from the creation of the world to this day the mighty dead of every age and every clime. And where, among the race of merely mortal men, shall one be found who, as a benefactor of his kind, shall claim to take the precedence of Lafayette?
Most kind, monsieur. A light to be that.